Today we will start again from Indian Contract Act 1872. Please tell me where we were in the last class. Last class we लोगों ने कहाँ तक cover किया था? Please tell me somebody. I believe it was up till e-contracts. Gaurav, please confirm whether it was till e-contracts or not.
Sir, I wasn't present in the last class of Contract Act.
You were not present, you were absent. Somebody else, please tell me what was the last class for Indian Contract Act. I believe it was till e-contracts. But nevertheless, today we will start from page number 10. Page number 10 of Indian Contract Act, page number 10. Capacity of contract. Not all the persons in the country of India where Indian Contract Act is applicable are capable enough to enter into a contract. In the very essential elements of an agreement, I told you that few of the parties are not capable to contract. Few of the parties are not capable enough to contract. So, not everyone are capable of to enter into a contract. The Indian Contract Act has given us the persons who are incapable to enter into a contract. The Indian Contract Act 1872 have told us that these are the persons who are not capable enough to enter into a contract. Now the point is, who are those persons? The Indian Contract Act is not giving us the name of the capable persons. It has given us the name of the incapable persons. तो जो लोग eligible नहीं है उनका नाम दिया है. What that it means? It means that apart from those who are incapable, all others are capable enough to enter into a contract. Apart from those who are incapable, all others are capable enough to enter into a contract. Now, Section 11. Section 11, as per Section 11, every person is competent to contract who is the age of majority according to the law to he is subject. जो मेजर लोग हैं, मेजर इन द सेंस जिनका एज इज मोर देन 18, person who are above the age of 18 are capable enough to enter into a contract, and that means minors are not capable to enter into a contract, and who is of sound mind and not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. First of all, all the measures, that means all the measures means all the persons above the age of 18 are capable enough to enter into a contract. Same thing was there in your foundation syllabus. And the person who are of unsound mind are also not capable to enter into a contract. And few of the persons who are already disqualified, few of the persons who are already disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. कुछ कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको लॉ ने मना करके रखा है to enter into a contract. First of all, only majors, that means not minors, can enter into a contract. Next, unsound minds cannot enter into a contract. एंड नेक्स्ट कुछ कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने के लिए मना करके रखा हुआ है. द क्वेश्चन इज what are the rules for the minors, what are the rules for the unsound mind, and who are being disqualified from contracting by any or some law. Minor, as per section 3 of the Indian Majority Act 1875. So there is a Indian Majority Act 1875. Every person in India is a minor if he is not attained the age of 18 years of age. However, in case of minor whose person or property or both the guardian has been appointed under Guardian and Wards Act 1890, whose property is under the superintendence of any court ward before he attains 18 of age is 21 years. The last sentence says that if a minor जिनका parents have been appointed as per Guardian and Wards Act 1890, उनके लिए जो माइनर का एज है वो 18 नहीं है, वो 21 है. It's not 18, it's 21. Normally 18 till 18 we are minor, after 18 we are major. So minors are not allowed to enter into a contract. However, in case of minor whose person or property or both of a guardian has been appointed under the Guardian and Wards Act 1890, or whose property is under the superintendence of any court of ward before he attains 18 years of age is 21 years. जिनका 18 साल होने से पहले ही गार्जियन अपॉइंट हो चुका है और जिनका प्रॉपर्टी अंडर गार्जियन एंड वार्ड्स एक्ट के अंदर सुपरिटेंडेंस में है, उनके लिए 21 साल है. बट these things are not so important to remember from intermediate exams point of view. I'm not talking about foundation exam point of view. Foundation में इसी से क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है, बट फ्रॉम इंटरमीडिएट इन सब में ज्यादा आपको ध्यान नहीं देना. ध्यान क्या देना है कि yes, minor are not capable enough to enter into contract. There are rules regarding minor and also minor can be appointed as an agent. आप ये सब rules में मिलेगा. Now look at the rules. The position of minors agreement and the effect thereof it as under. An agreement which a minor is void ab initio. Can somebody from you tell me what is the meaning of void ab initio? Void ab initio का मतलब क्या है? Can somebody tell me from your side? Anyone, any try? What is the meaning of void ab initio?
Sir, initially?
Void ab initio means from the very beginning. Void from the very beginning. The thing is that ab initio is a Latin term. Ab initio is a word from the Latin language. Ab initio means from the very beginning. So any contract, an agreement which a minor is void ab initio. So हम लोग contract तक पहुंचेंगे नहीं. The moment we have entered an agreement with a minor is always and always void ab initio. It's void ab initio, void from the very beginning. That means it's not valid from the very beginning. The law of estoppel does not apply against a minor. It means a minor can always plead his minority despite earlier misrepresenting to be a major. In other words, he cannot be held liable on an agreement on the ground that since earlier he had asserted that he had attained majority. Agar anyone, if he is under the years of 18, he is under the 18 years, अगर कोई 18 साल के नीचे है and that person have told the other that he is more than 18, then उसको उसका जो माइनॉरिटी है उसका बेनिफिट मिलेगा. कोई 18 साल नहीं हुआ ऐसा बच्चा अगर खुद को बोलता है कि मैं 21 या 22 साल का हूं, तो उसको 18 साल नीचे होने का फायदा मिलेगा. ठीक है. That's why law of estoppel is not applicable in case of minor. It means if minor have mispresented himself as if he is major, then उसको वो बेनिफिट मिलेगा. अगर आज मैं 18 साल के नीचे का हूं, मैं खुद को अगर बोलता हूं कि मैं 29 या 30 साल का हूं, तो since I am minor, even if I say कि मैं 29 या 30 साल का हूं, तो मुझे बेनिफिट मिलेगा, मुझे माफ कर देंगे लॉ. So that's why even after misrepresenting, law of estoppel is not applicable to the minor. And agreement with a minor, the term that has been used is agreement. So it has not been a contract. Agreement with a minor is always void ab initio. Doctrine of restitution, it does not apply against the minor, since the agreement with a minor is from the very beginning it's a void. So doctrine of restitution is also not applicable against a minor. Now can anybody tell me what is the meaning of doctrine of restitution? Doctrine of restitution you may have came across while reading the foundation material. So tell me what is the meaning of doctrine of restitution? अगर माइनर ने किसी से उधार लेके रखा है, if a person who is less than 18 years of age, उसने अगर उधार लेके रखा है and if he fails to repay those money, then minor is not liable to repay those money. Minor is not held liable. It means माइनर से हम वो पैसा वापस नहीं ले सकते हैं. If let's suppose I am a bank and minor came to me, that means a child of 15 years of age, and he took some loan from the bank, then tomorrow bank cannot go against the minor to recover those money. ठीक है? Don't give the example of bank for some time. Mr. X, Y, Z has lent some money to children ABC. एक 18 साल 16 years के लड़के को कुछ पैसा दिया और वो पैसा 16 years का लड़का लौटा नहीं पा रहा है. Now, since an agreement with a minor is void ab initio, void from the very beginning, then because of that reason, that XYZ cannot recover the money so lent to the minor. So minor को पैसा देना भी गलती है. कोई अगर minor आपसे उधार लेता है जो बिलो 18 है, वो अगर पैसा को पेमेंट नहीं करता है, then you cannot go against that minor to recover that particular amount of money. Okay. Next is no ratification on attaining majority. This is 18 years of age, and if somebody while he was 16 years of age, 18 of age is the mark. If somebody while he was 16 years of age entered into a contract, now he cannot confirm the contract after attaining majority. Why I am using what a contract is? Because while he was below the age of majority, he signed the agreement and became a contract unknowingly. Unknowingly, that agreement signed by a 16 years of old children became a contract. Now, after attaining 18 years, that contract he cannot ratify, he cannot confirm that गलती हो गया 18 से पहले मैंने साइन करके उसको एग्रीमेंट को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बना दिया, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा करना नहीं चाहिए था. नाउ सिंस आई एम मोर देन 18 इयर्स ऑफ एज, मैं उसको कंफर्म करना चाहता हूं. ये नहीं होगा एज पर लॉ, एज पर इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट. नो रेटिफिकेशन ऑन अटेनिंग मेजॉरिटी. Ratification means approval or confirmation. A minor cannot confirm an agreement made by him during minority on attaining majority. If he wants to ratify the agreement, a fresh agreement and fresh consideration for the new agreement is required. जो 18 से पहले at the age of 16 किया, उसको ratify नहीं कर सकता है, उसको आफ्टर 18 नया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनवाना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बेनिफिशियल टू माइनर. अ माइनर इज एंटाइटल्ड टू एनफोर्स अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट व्हिच इज ऑफ सम बेनिफिट टू हिम. Minority is a personal privilege and minor can take advantage of it and bind other parties. It means if parents of a minor execute an insurance policy on the behalf of minor for the benefit of minor, then contract is okay. Okay, there are parents and the parents have entered into a contract for their child who is of 10 years of age for the benefit of the child, then that contract is okay. Minor को हम liability नहीं दे सकते हैं, but we can always give benefits to the minor. We cannot make liable, but we can always give benefit to a minor. माइनर को हम कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं दे सकते, बट वी कैन ऑलवेज गिव बेनिफिट्स टू द माइनर. Minor as an agent. A minor can be appointed an agent, but he is not personally liable for any of his acts. I have told you the contract of agency, that agent, the principal have appoint, or he will appoint somebody to work for him, who is called as an agent. What is the duty of agent? The duty of agent is to work for the principal. So liability किसका होगा? Liability होगा principal का, ना कि agent का. Agent is just an employee of the minor. ठीक है, तो माइनर का एम्प्लॉई है वो, तो उसके लिए क्या है कि अगर कोई भी लायबिलिटी है तो माइनर का ऊपर नहीं है, एनी लायबिलिटी इज ऑन द मेजर. ठीक है, सो मेजर इज हु? मेजर इज प्रिंसिपल, बिकॉज प्रिंसिपल हैव अपॉइंटेड द माइनर. एनी लायबिलिटी विल, if arise, will go to the principal, not to the minor. So we can always appoint minor as an agent. Now the main question is, an agreement with a minor is void ab initio, that we all know. But the question is whether minor can be appointed as an agent. The answer will be always yes. Yes, it is correct that an agreement with a minor is void ab initio, but we can always appoint minor as an agent. Why agent? Because the ultimate liability is not with the minor. The ultimate liability is with the employer or the principal who have appointed the minor. Okay. Minor liability for necessities. If somebody has supplied a minor or his dependents with his necessities, minor's property is liable, but minor cannot be held liable personally. Point number 8, a minor cannot be adjudged insolvent as he is not capable of entering into a contract. Minor को कोई insolvent बोल नहीं सकता है, because he cannot enter into a contract. Where a minor and an adult jointly enter into an agreement with another person, the minor is not liable. The contract can be enforced against the major person. Minor plus major both are entering into a contract, but we cannot hold minor liable. We can always hold liable whom? We can always hold liable major. But I have intentionally skipped the point number 7. Minor's liability for necessities. If somebody has supplied a minor or his dependent with necessities, minor's property is liable, but minor cannot be held personally liable. मान लीजिए कोई बच्चा है जिसका both of his parents have died, but that child have been looking after by a person. Okay, both of the parents have been died, and that minor have been looking after by a person. Now if that person have incurred some expenses, if the person have incurred some expenses, then what is the problem? Then the problem is that that person cannot ask the reimbursement of expenses from the minor, but he can always ask his reimbursement of expenses from the property of the minor. ठीक है, माइनर का पॉकेट से उसको पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, बट माइनर का प्रॉपर्टी में से उसको पैसा मिलेगा. किसको पैसा मिलेगा? जो उस माइनर जिसका दोनों पेरेंट्स नहीं है उसका देखभाल कर रहा है. दैट मींस द केयरटेकर. पॉइंट नंबर 7, if the caretaker have incurred any expenses, that expenses can be reimbursed from the minor's property, not from his pocket. These are the rules for the minor, but in general, an agreement with a minor is void ab initio, but minor can always be appointed as an agent because ultimate liability is of the principal, and if anything is of beneficial to the minor, the measures can enter into a contract. So point number 1 से लेके 9 तक any questions to be asked, you can always ask. Any confusion? पॉइंट 1 से 9 तक आप अगर पढ़ लो, कोई कंफ्यूजन है तो बताओ।
Sir, you told that in point 7 that a person who has the category
You are not audible. Please tell me again. You are not audible.
in point 7 you told that a person who takes care of the minor, he will get the expenses from the property of minor. But when he turns measure, then he will also again the caretaker will get the property from the caretaker will get the property from there, or else he will not take the property.
You are talking about point number 7. See, I don't know about the example that I have taken. You have studied under me for the foundation. क्या है ये हिंदी मूवी का एक एग्जांपल आई ऑलवेज टेक. Let's say there are parents, Mr. X and Mr. Y, and they have children, सोनू और चुन्नी. ठीक है, दिस इज जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ एग्जांपल. और उन्होंने क्या है, उनका केयरटेकर रामू काका है. रामू काका इज द केयरटेकर फॉर सोनू एंड चुन्नी. उनका जो पेरेंट्स है वो एक्स एंड वाई है. नाउ इन एन एक्सीडेंट बोथ मिस्टर एक्स एंड मिसेस वाई हैव डाइड, leaving behind a property for the minor children सोनू एंड चुन्नी. नाउ रामू काका क्या है, वो केयरटेकर है घर का. तो रामू काका ने क्या बोला है, टिल द माइनर हैव till a minor will attain the age of 18, Ramu Kaka will look after Sonu and Chunni. So while looking after Sonu and Chunni, Manu Kaka must have to incur some expenses. Now Ramu Kaka cannot ask those reimbursement of those expenses from Sonu and Chunni, but Ramu Kaka can always reimburse those expenses from the property that have been left behind by their parents, that have been left behind by the parents of Sonu and Chunni. वो सोनू एंड चुन्नी से पैसा डायरेक्ट नहीं ले सकता है, लेकिन जो उनका प्रॉपर्टी है, जो घर है, जो जमीन है, जो जायदाद है, वहां से वो रामू काका उसका जो भी खर्चा हुआ होगा वो reimburse कर सकते हैं. That is all about point number 7. Any expense that have been incurred to supply necessities to the minor can be reimbursed from the property of the minor that has been left by their parents, but not from the pocket of the minors. I believe now it's clear to Pratikya. Batao.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone? Any other question? ठीक है, this is all about the rules for minor. Now sound mind person, law has debarred the unsound mind person. So those who are unsound, they cannot enter into a contract. Okay, it means only sound person can enter into a contract. Who is a sound mind for the purpose of contracting? A person is said to be of sound mind for the purpose of making a contract if at the time when he makes it, he is capable of understanding and forming a rational judgment as to its effect upon his interest. A person who is usually of unsound mind but occasionally of sound mind may make a contract when he is of sound mind. A person who is usually of sound mind but occasionally of unsound mind, he may not make a contract when he is unsound mind. तो साउंड माइंड एंड अनसाउंड माइंड का क्या है कि जिसको अपना दिमाग लगाना आता है, पर्सन हु कैन मेक अ रैशनल जजमेंट, a person who can make a rational judgment is called as sound mind. जिसको अपना दिमाग लगाना नहीं आता है, he is of unsound mind. Only a sound mind person, जिसको अपना दिमाग लगाना आता है, जिसको कुछ समझ में आता है, he can enter into a contract. If किसी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है या किसी को अपना दिमाग लगाना नहीं आता है, then that person cannot enter into a contract. ठीक है? So sound person, sound mind person can always enter into a contract. Unsound mind person cannot enter into a contract. The point is, a person at some time may be sound, at some time may be unsound. While he is sound mind, he can enter into a contract, but while he is unsound mind, he cannot enter into a contract. The main funda is that difference between sound and unsound. Unsound mind person cannot make any rational judgment. जो अपना दिमाग नहीं लगा सकता है, जिसका कोई समझ में नहीं है, जिसको समझ में नहीं आता है, then he is of unsound mind. Sound mind is जिसको अपना rational judgment पता है, जिसको खुद का दिमाग लगाना आता है, he is of sound mind. A person when he is of sound mind can enter into a contract. A person when he is not of sound mind cannot enter into a contract. ठीक है? Illustration: who are sound minded, who are unsound minded. A patient in a lunatic asylum who is at intervals of sound mind may conduct contract during the lunatic asylum में जिसमें बहुत who is a ड्रिंकर ऑफ अल्कोहल, जो बहुत ज्यादा अल्कोहल पीता है, तो उसको हम लोग क्या करते हैं, लुनेटिक एसाइलम में रखते हैं. ठीक है? A sane man who is delirious from fever or who is so drunk that he cannot understand the terms of the contract, तो जो नशे में रहते हैं, they are called as unsound mind. Simple thing that the person who are under some intoxication are known as unsound mind, and during their state of unsound mind they cannot enter into a contract, and during their state of sound mind they can enter into a contract. So sound person can enter into a contract, unsound person cannot enter into a contract. नेक्स्ट, अदर डिस्क्वालिफाइड पर्सन. ये जो 5 नेम है, 5 लोग हैं, these persons are disqualified from entering into a contract. Alien enemy, अगर इंडिया का किसी कंट्री के साथ कोई वॉर इज गोइंग ऑन, कोई झगड़ा, कोई वॉर इज गोइंग ऑन, then with the citizen of that particular country, Indians cannot enter into a contract. Let's suppose India and Pakistan is going through a war. So Pakistan is our alien enemy. Alien means foreign enemy. Since Pakistan is our alien enemy, then Indians cannot enter into a contract with the citizens of Pakistan. This is the meaning of alien enemy. Then foreign sovereign and ambassadors. आप लोगों ने आपका इकोनॉमिक्स में ग्रॉस नेशनल प्रोडक्ट, ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट साइड कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ा होगा। वहां पे हम लोग जो एम्बेसडर, जो एम्बेसी है, इंडिया का एम्बेसी है जो बाहर में, उनको हम लोग इंक्लूड करते हैं। ठीक है, जो इंडिया का एम्बेसी हर एक कंट्री में हो सकता है, उस हिसाब से हर एक कंट्री का एम्बेसी इंडिया में हो सकता है। तो इंडिया का जो एम्बेसी, लेट्स सपोज यूएसए, यूके, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कनाडा में है, उनके साथ नॉर्मल सिटीजन कैन नॉट एंटर इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। उनके साथ कौन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर करेंगे? उनके साथ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया will enter into a contract. Normal citizen cannot enter into a contract with the embassy or ambassadors of foreign nationals. Then convicts. Convict means those persons who are behind the bar or who are inside the jail. Insolvent. Insolvent means the person who cannot pay or who cannot repay his liability. जो खुद का उधार दे रिपे नहीं कर सकते हैं, so they are called as insolvents, and with insolvent we cannot enter into a contract. And company or statutory bodies, since companies are artificial person, since company are artificial person, then to enter into a contract with a company, we have to go to the MON, article of association, memorandum of association and article of association. In the memorandum and article of association, the person that has been given the permission to enter into a contract, only those person can enter into a contract, otherwise other person cannot enter into a contract. Company or statutory bodies are contract into by a corporate body or statutory body will be valid only to the extent it is with the memorandum of association. Memorandum और आर्टिकल में जो भी लिखा है, जो भी लोगों का नाम मेंशन है, उन्हीं लोगों के साथ हम लोग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर कर सकते हैं। अदरवाइज हम लोग कंपनी के केस में किसी और के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर नहीं कर सकते हैं। इट simply means only the authorized representatives of a company can enter into a contract with other, otherwise no one can enter into a contract with anyone in case of company or statutory bodies. So capacity of person में क्या है? माइनर है, अनसम माइंड है, एंड अदर डिस्क्वालिफाइड पर्संस। सो अदर डिस्क्वालिफाइड पर्सन में एलियन एनिमी, जो फॉरेन एनिमी है, जो फॉरेन एम्बेसडर है, एम्बेसी, उनके साथ ओनली गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कैन एंटर इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। कन्विक्ट्स, जो जेल के अंदर है। इंसॉल्वेंट, जो द पर्सन हु कैन नॉट रिपे हिज डेट्स। एंड कंपनी स्टेबिलिटी, जो अलाउड है उसके साथ ही कर सकते हैं, अदरवाइज वी कैन नॉट एंटर इनटू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। सो एनी डाउट रिगार्डिंग द capacity of contract point?
हेलो, आप क्लास नहीं करेंगे? ठीक है, ओके।
Next is no doubt with regards to competent of person to enter into a contract. Next, in page number 12, consent, free consent. Consent when two or more persons are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. If two or more persons agree on the same things, on the same sense, it means their consent is freely given. I have given consent to your voice in the same sense you have given your consent to me. So now the consents so given by each of the parties are called as free consent. उसमें फ्री कंसेंट में क्या है, ना कोई आउटसाइड प्रेशर है, ना कोई फ्रॉड है, ना कोई मिस रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, ना कोई अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस है, दोनों साइड से कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है. सो the consent have been given on the same page. As per section 4, if the parties have not agreed upon the same thing in the same sense, there is no real consent and hence no contract is formed. Where there is no free consent, then there cannot be any contract. So it means consent shall always be freely given, and while giving consent there shall not be any pressure or force. As per section 14 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, consent is said to be free when it is not caused by coercion, section 15, undue influence, section 16, fraud, section 17, misrepresentation, section 18, mistakes subject to the provisions of section 20, 21 and 22. In the page number 13, paragraph number 4, effect of quotient. Even if it has been written as effect of quotient, it is applicable to quotient as well as undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation. Section 19 is applicable to section 15, it is quotient, section 16, undue influence, and section 17, fraud, and section 18, misrepresentation. So section 19 is applicable for 15, 16, 17, 18. What does section 19 says? Effect of quotient or effect of section 15, 16, 17, 18. According to section 19, when the consent is caused by quotient, fraud, misrepresentation, or undue influence, even if undue influence is not mentioned, but the concept is same for undue influence, the agreement is voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. The aggrieved party may opt to rescind the contract. If the aggrieved party seeks to rescind the contract, he must restore the benefits to obtain another contract from the party. Voidable is a contract where one party have the option to enter into a contract, but the other party does not have any such kind of option. Voidable contract is that kind of contract where one party has the option to enter into a contract, other party does not have any option to enter into a contract. It means voidable contracts are always avoidable contracts to a party, but not to the option of other party. And section 19 is applicable for section 15, 16, 17, 18. That means quotient, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation. अगर इन चार केसेस है, सो उन चार केसेस में क्या होगा? एक पार्टी के पास ऑप्शन है टू एंटर इनटू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ऑप्शन मींस या तो वो एंटर करेगा या नहीं करेगा, लेकिन अदर पार्टी के पास ऐसा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, उसको एंटर करना ही पड़ेगा. तो अगर any contract that has been entered due to effect of quotient, due to effect of undue influence, due to effect of fraud or misrepresentation, then one party will have the option to enter into the contract, other party will not have any option to enter into the contract, other party को contract करना ही पड़ेगा. Now what are the definition of section 15, 16, 17, 18? The term quotient has been defined in section 15 of the act as the committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by the Indian Penal Code, or the unlawful detaining or threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person, whatever, with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. इसमें क्या है? किसी आदमी के साथ हम लोगों ने जबरदस्ती किया है. क्यों जबरदस्ती किया है? Because we have to make him enter into an agreement. Any act forbidden by the Indian Penal Code, it means committing to suicide or threatening to commit suicide. Actually suicide करना और suicide करने के लिए threatening देना, जो कि इंडियन पेनल कोड में मना किया गया है. Unlawful detaining or threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person, whatever, with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. मैं अगर किसी को सुसाइड करने का कमिट करता हूं या उसका थ्रेटनिंग देता हूं या किसी को अनलॉफुली डिटेन करना चाहता हूं या उसको डिटेन करने का धमकी देता हूं, उस धमकी से अगर वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट या उस धमकी से अगर एग्रीमेंट में एंटर करना चाहता है, then that is effect of quotient, that is section 15. If that is the case, after the agreement, if it become a contract, then one party have the option to enter into the contract, other party does not have enter into a contract. committing suicide or threatening to commit suicide, to detain property or threatening to detain property. इसके चलते हुए अगर कोई एग्रीमेंट को हाँ बोल देता है, then what happens, वो तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बन जाएगा, लेकिन एक पार्टी के पास ऑप्शन है टू एंटर इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, अदर पार्टी के पास ऑप्शन नहीं है टू एंटर इनटू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. दिस इज सेक्शन 15. I am skipping section 16. I will go to section 17. Fraud. Page number 15. Section 16 in next class we will take up. For today, the last topic is fraud. Fraud, section 17. As per section 17 of the Indian Contract Act, fraud means and includes. Means and includes का मतलब ये है, fraud इसको कहलाता है, और फ्रॉड के अंदर ये चीज भी आता है. फ्रॉड मीन्स एंड इंक्लूड्स का मतलब ये है, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज फ्रॉड, एंड दीस अदर थिंग्स आर आल्सो इंक्लूडेड इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ फ्रॉड. फ्रॉड मीन्स एंड इंक्लूड्स एनी ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एक्ट्स कमिटेड बाय अ पार्टी टू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और इट इज कनाइवेंस. या तो पार्टी खुद से वो फ्रॉड करेगी, या तो किसी के साथ मिलके वो फ्रॉड करेगी, और बाय हिज एजेंट, या तो उसके एजेंट के थ्रू वो फ्रॉड करेगी, विद इंटेंट टू डिसीव अनदर पार्टी देयरटू और हिज एजेंट, और टू इंड्यूस हिम एंटर इनटू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. किसी को धूल चटकाना, टू डिसीव अनदर पार्टी और उसका एजेंट, और टू इंड्यूस दैट अनदर पार्टी और एजेंट टू एंटर इनटू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. मैं फ्रॉड कब करूंगा? किसी के साथ, या तो उसको उसके साथ करूंगा, या तो उसके एजेंट के साथ करूंगा, या तो खुद से करूंगा, या तो उसके किसी के साथ मिलकर करूंगा. फ्रॉड में कैसे करूंगा? खुद से करूंगा या किसी के साथ मिलकर करूंगा. किसको करूंगा? उस पार्टी को करूंगा या उस पार्टी का एजेंट करूंगा. कैसे करूंगा? या उस पार्टी को धूल चटकाऊंगा, या उसको ऐसा बोलूंगा कि वो मजबूर हो जाए टू एंटर इनटू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. उसको फ्रॉड कहलाता है. एंड फ्रॉड क्या है? सजेशन एज टू फैक्ट ऑफ दैट व्हिच इज नॉट ट्रू, बट वन हु डज नॉट बिलीव इट टू बी ट्रू. मुझे मालूम है ये चीज गलत है, लेकिन मैं उसको सही सही कहलाता जाऊंगा. I know that fact is wrong, but I will portray it as right. Active concealment of fact of one having knowledge. मुझे पता है, लेकिन मैंने उसको छुपा दिया है. A promise made without any intention to perform, और किसी को धूल चटकाना, any other act fitted to deceive, any such act or omission as law specifically declares to be fraudulent. अगर कोई चीज जो लॉ ने हमें फ्रॉड कहला दिया है, तो अगर हम लोग फ्रॉड करते हैं तो वो क्या होगा? वॉइडेबल होगा मेरे लिए, एंड अदर पर्सन के लिए वॉइडेबल नहीं होगा. फ्रॉड कैसे होगा? या तो मेरे से होगा, या किसी के साथ मिलके होगा, या तो उस पर्सन के साथ होगा, या उसके एजेंट के साथ होगा, तभी ये फ्रॉड कहलाता जाता है. कब कैसे होगा? या तो मैं उसको कुछ डिसीव करूंगा, धूल चटकाऊंगा, या तो उसको मजबूर कर दूंगा टू एंटर इनटू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. if the fraud is of that if the fraud is in this line, then वो voidable होगा. ठीक है? So any doubt regarding कोई दिक्कत, कोई कंफ्यूजन है? अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस को मैंने छोड़ दिया है. I have taken just the fraud, section 17 and section 15. क्वेश्चन में क्या है? या तो धमकाना टू कमिट सुसाइड और थ्रेटन टू कमिट सुसाइड. Any doubt? Okay, see you in the next class. Thank you. Please do read about possession and fraud, and also capacity of person to enter into a contract. Thank you. Next class of faculty NSA Sayaviram has been cancelled by Mr. Sayaviram. Accounts class has been cancelled by Mr. Sayaviram.